When we think of ads, we think of money being spent. When it comes to government ads, the money comes directly from taxpayers. However, as the political competition grows, so does the war on narrative, and no government is innocent of participating in this battle for political gains. We know that government ads are issued in public interest, but are they truly useful to the public? These are some recent headlines on, governments, advertisements, and the funds spent on them. This actually got us thinking about ads. Ads are inevitable in our everyday lives, right? They're quite literally everywhere: billboards, the flyers, the TV in your living room, newspapers, radio in your car, even on OTT now. That's just the market economy at play, nothing outrageous about that. Some ads even become memorable, like Cadbury, Coca-Cola, Vodafone, or Amul, because they are embedded right into our memory. Did you just pay attention to all these names we just took? They are the names of private companies, and of course, names that you are familiar with. But what about ads like these?
9 से 28 फरवरी 2011 तक होने वाली सबसे बड़ी जनगणना में हिस्सा लें।
बड़ी बहू का वजन ठीक है, छोटी बहू का पोषण ठीक है।
ये सब आपने कैसे ट्रैक किया?
देख, बस 3 आसान स्टेप फॉलो कर और जान ले सारी पोषण जानकारी।
I didn't even know that there was a digital tool to track nutrition services for Anganwadi workers in India until I saw this, a government ad. The topic we'll dive into today is about government advertisements actually. As we delve deeper into this, we will answer questions like, what are government ads? Where do you read or see them? Are they really useful? How much does it cost? Who regulates it? And should we probably limit it? The newspaper I'm holding was printed on 17th January 2026. This is a government advertisement. So, what is a government ad? Well, it is a paid message that is issued by a government body in the media to inform citizens about laws, schemes, services, rights, or public interest messages. They should be factual, informing all citizens about decisions that are directly pertinent to them and are non-partisan. Government ads use public funds to provide necessary information to citizens, not to project individual functionaries or parties in power, though Jayalalitha would beg to differ.
Let me explain.
A government ad ends and or begins with a government logo, ministry name, the scheme, policy, public interest message, etc. We also have political party ads and campaigning, which can often be confused for government ads or vice versa. You see, party ads carry party symbolism across the ad, and they clearly include party names as well as party leaders while being paid for by the political party. For instance, the Modi Hai To Mumkin Hai or Congress's party ad during the 2024 elections come under political party advertisements. Remember, once again, government ads will always have the government symbols, ministry names, and are paid for by the government. Once you know this, it becomes easier to differentiate which ad is a government ad and which one is a political party's ad. Now that this distinction is clear, let's move ahead to understand where you can spot government ads. Newspapers, televisions, radios, public spaces, social media, these mediums are inevitable in our daily lives. Government ads find a space in all these possible mediums. You'll probably see them on a billboard when you're stuck in traffic or getting fuel filled at the petrol pump, or in between shows on the radio and television. What you need to know about government advertising today is that it's no longer about just seeing some poster on the roads. It is a 360-degree ecosystem designed to meet you wherever you spend your time, physical or digital. It wasn't always this way, okay? India saw government ads for the first time when the British government commercialized government ads during the outbreak of World War II in 1941. It created the post of advertising consultant under the chief press advisor to handle war-related publicity and army recruitment for the war. Because, of course, requiring more fighting bodies is when the British Raj decides to publicly advertise recruitment of Indians for British war jobs. However, soon after 1947, the focus of government ads shifted to developmental advertising, since the need of the hour then was the government needing to communicate the goals of the 5-year plans to a large population. As the years passed by, the ad mediums began to diversify, with the All India Radio, the expansion of television, and the introduction of color TV. Government ads also began to make their mark on what we call out of home advertising today. By this, we mean outdoor hoardings, bus panels, local trains, wall paintings, and even mobile vans. It expanded during the 70s and 80s, became inevitable, and sometimes even iconic.
ऑफिस आके अपना पैसा ले लेना भाई।
ठीक है सर।
ये क्या लिखवाया है सचिव जी?
So yeah, our forms of media consumption has evolved, and so have government ads. Today, clearly, the government has well adapted to the reality of information at our fingertips. In 2023, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting approved the Digital Advertisement Policy 2023. This means that websites, news portals, OTTs, search ads, display banners, and social media ads are all covered under this policy for government ads. Considering the fact that India has over 900 million internet users and over 455 million users aged 18 years and above using social media in India, the governments at all levels have been quick enough to adapt to this age of digital citizenry. Another point we need to keep in mind is not just media diversification, but also the number of platforms within each medium. After partition, we were only left with 6 radio stations, and television was yet to enter the market. Today, India has over 146,000 registered newspapers and periodicals, making it one of the largest newspaper markets in the world. Today, we have 393 private news channels, 918 private satellite TV channels, 585 Akashvani FM stations, and 388 private FM radio stations operational in India today. Not to mention social media, the huge mammoth that is part of our daily lives. This clearly explains Modi's Mann Ki Baat initiative, reaching radio waves and internet all at once countrywide, regularly as clockwork. Now, given this vast world of media that we live in today and a population as large as 1.4 billion, government spending on advertisements have obviously increased. But with scale comes cost, comes expenditure, comes public spending on government information in the form of ads. So let's get deeper into the cost of government ad spending by different governments at different levels. As mentioned earlier, the mediums to advertise a government ad are many, but what all goes into producing a typical ad? There are two parts of ad spending: production costs and media buying. Production costs are all expenses that go into making of an ad. So this covers your film crew, celebrity campaigns, sets, post-production, and the specialized use of tech. The second aspect, media buying, is simply the money spent into different media channels and platforms to ensure that your ad reaches as many people as possible. If you have to advertise a product on national channels like Star Plus, Sony, Color, Zee TV, and DD National, etc., it will cost anywhere between rupees 1.5 to 4 lakh per 10-second spot during prime times and rupees 30,000 to 80,000 during non-prime spots. There is also something called impact spots, that is during special events. Take IPL matches. To put a 10-second ad on television, it will cost anywhere between rupees 14 to 20 lakhs today, especially if it's an India Park match. So how much does the central government spend? In our union budget of 2026-27, the union government allocated rupees 1,476 crore for information and publicity. While a portion of that amount is spent on advertising, the information and publicity head covers the entire operational machinery of the government's communication wing. But let's take a closer look at how spending on advertising specifically has evolved in the last 2.5 decades. From this data that we've presented on screen, two things stand out. One, there has been a surge in spending from rupees 45 crores in 2003 to rupees 654 crores in 2025. There are a few reasons for this. The cost of reaching a citizen has increased significantly over the last 2 decades. Due to this media inflation, the government periodically adjusts its rate card to match market realities, the frequency of ads, and the game of narrative, and so on. For instance, in November 2025, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting approved a landmark 26% increase in advertising rates for print media. This was done to account for rising newsprint costs, logistics, and wages. Another reason to factor in would be the diversification of mediums and the centralization of advertising through CBC, which we will cover more in detail later. 2. There is a noticeable surge in advertisement spending in the pre-election years, irrespective of the parties in power at the center. A trend that is hard to miss. After all, we've all seen election seasons in India. Posters everywhere, frequent reminders of schemes and government achievements and governance work are amplified on various media more than usual. When we focus the lens onto states, the story is no different. In fact, in some cases, you will notice that the spending on advertisements is glaring considering the differences in the size of the budgets. For instance, an RTI query has revealed that the Punjab government has spent Rs 1,534 crore between 2017 and 2025 on government ads alone. Advertisement expenditure of the AAP Delhi government was once Rs 612.80 crore by the end of 2022. Following criticism from the Supreme Court, the expenditure dropped to Rs 26.2 crore in 2023-24. Similarly, spending in states like Karnataka has been high irrespective of the party in power. A similar pattern is observed in Tamil Nadu too, as it spent Rs 35 crore on advertising in 2023-24 and increased the spending to Rs 110 crore in 2024-25 despite budgeting only Rs 35 crore. Similarly, the Kerala government earmarked Rs 44 crore for the information and publicity sector, and an amount of Rs 30 crore was earmarked additionally for settling advertisement dues and for new programs in its budget 2025-26. Bottom line, the pattern we started noticing in ad spending at the center is that it's no different to the pattern at the state level too. We know that government ads are issued in public interest, but are they truly useful to the public? Let's understand this better. Earlier in this video, we mentioned that government ads have adopted a 360-degree model. We also mentioned that ads are centralized under the CBC, or the Central Bureau of Communication, under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. You see, in 2017, the government created the single, powerful mega agency by merging the Directorate of Advertising and Visual Publicity, the Directorate of Field Publicity, and the Song and Drama Division. Through this, the government moved from just print or radio to this 360-degree model. Why the 360-degree approach? Well, government ads are not just meant to inform, they at times also try to change behavior. This requires high-frequency reminders across all platforms, which is more expensive. For schemes like Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, Swachh Bharat, family planning, etc., a behavioral change is needed through not just on-ground projects, but also consistent messaging. Query ads have become a form of social engineering today. To effectively nudge a population of 1.4 billion, the government must buy the high decibel 360-degree coverage, which is far more expensive than a one-off newspaper notice. To attest to this, the progress is reflected in the numbers of some campaigns like Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, Swachh Bharat, Jam Trinity. And these numbers have been encouraging, but it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It begins with a shift in behavior, which is precisely what these campaigns set out to achieve. So sure, government ads are useful and necessary for information and the narratives that they set. But maybe that's where the game starts getting tricky. After all, the funding of these ads is personal for all of us, considering that it comes from public funds. When we think of ads, we think of money being spent. When it comes to government ads, the money comes directly from taxpayers through a structured constitutional process. The funds for ads are drawn from the Consolidated Fund of India and the Consolidated Fund of the state. These funds are made up of direct taxes, indirect taxes, and non-tax revenue. The case for using public funds on government advertising is straightforward. These campaigns exist to inform citizens about laws, schemes, services, rights, and matters of public interest. The money, in other words, is meant to serve the very people it comes from. India's high-profile campaigns on reducing open defecation, developmental planning, modern contraception, fertility rates, and gender parity in education are few clear examples of this. However, as the political competition grows, so does the war on narrative, and no government is innocent of participating in this battle for political gains. Let's look at a few instances. Between 2018 and 2022, the Aam Aadmi Party spending on advertisements skyrocketed by an astonishing 1200% as per a CAG report. This means that the government's advertising expenditure increased from rupees 46.90 crore in 2018 to rupees 612.80 crore by the end of 2022. Previously, in 2017, the same AAP government made the headlines as another CAG report found that the Delhi government spent rupees 28.7 crore, which was 86% of its campaign budget, on out-of-state ads. Similarly, a Punjab-based RTI activist pointed out in 2023 that the Punjab government had spent rupees 2.33 crore on advertisements issued to electronic channels in Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh. These examples demonstrate how public funds can be misused, even in broad daylight, even in another state altogether. In 2018, the Congress-led Karnataka government reportedly spent rupees 123 crore to publicize its schemes before elections, which is a 9-time surge in comparison to the spending undertaken in 2013-14. This was when the Congress government had spent a meager rupees 13.47 crore. Guess what was coming up in 2018? Correct, the state elections. The same was done by the BJP in 2023, wherein the Baswaraj Bommai government in Karnataka had spent a staggering rupees 44.42 crore on advertisements in print and electronic media in 3 months leading up to elections. And in this war of narrative building, government ads can sometimes also come at the cost of welfare and growth. For example, as recently as a week back, while Karnataka state debt was taking the limelight with the news of it reaching rupees 7.6 lakh crore by the end of March 2026, the government had decided to spend rupees 2 crore plus on ads targeting, guess what, the Manrega name change. Valid or not, that I will leave it up to you for now. Moreover, government ads can also be susceptible to budgetary malpractice and diversion of funds. For instance, in June 2017, the Union Ministry of Rural Development sanctioned the diversion of rupees 39.15 lakh allocated for pension schemes towards publicity campaigns for other initiatives of the ministry. The ministry publicized some of its programs or schemes through hoardings all over the country in 19 states, and these were schemes like Gram Samriddhi and Swachh Bharat. Furthermore, the payment to the DAVP was made without confirming that the advertising orders had been completed. This further highlighted the issues of administrative mismanagement and bureaucratic negligence. What works for such issues? Some level of rules and regulations, some boundaries, limits, and parameters for governments to advertise within. Regulation is clearly essential to prevent this kind of misuse, mismanagement, and malpractice, which raises an important question. Who exactly keeps government ad spending in check? Government ads are inevitable and won't be going anywhere, neither should they go. We have understood the need, the cost, and the misuse of government ads so far. However, it does need to have some limitations to create an even playing political field while ensuring that every information reaches the citizens. To regulate the ad world, the Directorate of Advertising and Visual Publicity under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting was formed in 1955 to centralize government ad campaigns. The idea behind it was to save costs, negotiate rates, and ensure reach via print, electronic, outdoor, and digital media. Today, we know it as the CBC due to the merger that we mentioned earlier. The government takes out ad tenders today, which means that this is the price control mechanism of government spending. Unlike a private brand, the government does not have to pay market rates. Rather, when the government issues a tender to get the government business, approved media houses offer CBC rates that are lower than the market rates. Before the merger, up until 2015, the DAVP operated under internal guidelines that focused almost entirely on the mechanics of advertising, such as rates, circulation figures, and eligible newspapers, rather than the content of the ads. This gap enabled opaque ad allocation, political bias, and promotion. So in 2003, the NGO Common Cause filed a public interest litigation, arguing that DAVP guidelines were being used to bypass democratic norms. For nearly a decade after the initial filing, the case moved slowly due to agitation from various governments until the Supreme Court took the matter into its own hands.
तो करना परेशान हो गए हम लोग 2.5 साल से ये भी परेशान हो गए हम भी परेशान हो गए करो फिर
In 2014, the Supreme Court of India formed a 3-member panel to frame guidelines to regulate government advertisements that was glorifying politicians in the media. And the committee was asked to study best global practices before drafting a set of guidelines. Fast forward to 2015, the Supreme Court adopted the committee's recommendations and gave a landmark judgment in the Common Cause versus Union of India. It stated that taxpayers' money cannot be spent to build personality cults of political leaders. The Supreme Court laid out 5 key points. 1. Advertising campaigns to be only related to government responsibilities. 2. Materials should be presented in an objective, fair, and accessible manner and designed to meet the objectives of the campaign. 3. Not directed at promoting political interests of a party. 4. Campaigns must be justified and undertaken in an efficient and cost-effective manner. And 5. Advertisements must comply with legal requirements, financial regulations, and procedures. As per these regulations, the publication of photos of government leaders in advertisements, except the images of the President, the Prime Minister, and the Chief Justice of India, or basically the heads of the government, is prohibited. The same works on the state level too. You can have the photos of chief ministers, governors, union and state ministers of different departments that are concerned with the advertisements. Apart from these key guidelines, the Supreme Court had mandated the government to set up a 3-member committee called the Committee on Content Regulation of Government Advertisements. In the past, it has had personals like former chief election commissioners and media professionals. What the CCRGA does is send recommendations to the Information and Broadcast Ministry on the complaints it receives. Now, the discretion to implement these recommendations, it lies with the Information and Broadcasting Ministry at the end of the day. Say a ministry or a government department ignores a recommendation made by the CCRGA. The original complainant or any citizen can pursue legal remedies in court. Otherwise, the suggestion remains a suggestion without any action. Though the committee is mainly inactive at the moment, a 2016 case was a powerful reminder of the CCRGA's role in enabling political accountability. The committee was investigating complaints against the Delhi government regarding ads that were alleged to be for political self-promotion. It concluded that several of these advertisements violated the Supreme Court's 2015 guidelines. It then issued a landmark direction stating that the cost of such advertisements must be recovered from the political party. And voila, in 2017, Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena directed Chief Secretary Naresh Kumar to recover Rs 97.14 crore with interest from the Aam Aadmi Party for a number of political advertisements published or telecast as government advertisements in 2015 and 2016. Therefore, having understood the pros and cons of government ads and spending, what do we need to take away as citizens and voters? Here's the thing, we do need government ads in our daily lives, be it for the average citizen to be aware of new schemes and initiatives, or for the youth to know about education, skill development, defense recruitment, other job schemes, or a major reformation announcement. However, government ads are also susceptible to misuse, and hence, we must be smart as citizens in understanding both the pros and cons of government ads. This brings us to the effectiveness of government ads. How do we know that these ads are effective? There are 2 ways to understand this. One, unlike private companies that measure the effectiveness of their ads through the revenue generated on the product being advertised, the government has no set metric to measure the impact of the ads. However, the CBC does have a set of performance metric applicable to all ad packages now. This works out well in saving public funds by understanding how an ad performs through examining its click-through rates. The CBC mandates 3 clicks per 1,000 impressions or 3,000 clicks per million impressions across the categories as the standard metric. Anything below that invites a deduction on the billed amount as shown in this table. Secondly, the impact assessment. This is where we and now you come in. Meet the ad to action metric. This is how we can understand if a government's expenditure on an ad is actually helping the citizens. Delhi's pollution is a great example to understand this. In 2023, the government installed a massive smog tower in Connaught Palace as a first of its kind solution. The installation cost rupees 19.42 crore. But an RTI reply in 2025 revealed that no funds were recorded as spent on the tower's upkeep in the last 2 years, while the tower was advertised. Neither were Delhi's peeps really aware about it. The ad to action inefficiency is very clear over here. On the other hand, something like the Swachh Bharat mission required massive information, education, and communication messaging to achieve its aims. A 2019 report highlighted that a rural Indian was exposed to the mission-related messaging about 2,500 to 3,300 times between 2014 to 2019 through public and private peers.
कुछ नहीं मैडम, हम विनोद.
In 2019, India declared itself to be open defecation free, and as of February 4th, 2026, over 12.05 crore individual household latrines have been constructed across India. These numbers show improvement in not just infrastructure and health, but also in overall behavior. And this is evident from the decline in Swachh Bharat ad spending, since the country by and large has normalized toilets being built and used. Or let's also take the example of the country learning the method of washing hands and wearing masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. Between 2020 and 2021, the government utilized multiple platforms for extensive outreach alongside the promotion of the Arogya Setu app.
So next time you see a government or even a party ad, find its effectiveness in and around you. Every ad might not have you as the target audience, but does it do its job well for the desired target audience? Can be answered on how well the scheme works on ground, knowledge about the scheme, and the reach of the scheme. Basically, does the ad do the job it's meant to do under the specified guidelines is the only question to ask at present. It's important for us, both as citizens and voters, to not just be aware of government ads, but also be aware of why it's needed, when it can take a U-turn, and how these ads can set narratives and influence the desired audience. This video was ND's way of viewing government ads in a balanced way. And as we sign off, this is our personal ad for you. If you like this video, hit the like button, share, and subscribe.